You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Hi, you're listening to my mom, Georgia Edson, on iCannabisRadio.com.
Hi, welcome. It is Monday, August 5th. August 5th.
Wow.
Wow. I like August. August is a fun month.
That's when I came here.
So you've been here for a year now?
August 14th is when I'm,
your
that's
anniversary.
My anniversary.
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. August, it marks usually like kind of the hottest part of the summer in Colorado.
really?
Although we've had a really
It's been
pretty
hot.
easy, well,
For me, it's been hot.
it definitely temperatures have been up there, but clouds every afternoon, and yeah, it's been nice.
Thunderstorms, some really cool thunderstorms this summer. That's cool.
Yeah, we're not used to that. I mean,
I'm
that's
definitely not.
That's pretty cool. I'm used to that from where I grew up in Florida, but excuse the fact that I'm kind of laying down yet again. I managed to blow out my knee.
yourself?
Yeah, so it just happened yesterday.
Ouch.
Yeah, so it's all right. I'm just trying to milk for all the sympathy I can possibly get from you people, and just kind of stretch it out a little bit. Every time I get up after sitting for a while, I notice that I'm stiffer, so I'm trying to stretch it out just a hair. So you guys went to Bongathon this weekend.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was my first one. And that was just like in the middle of nowhere, really in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We were on the highway and we pulled over. I don't know why we pulled over. I guess to just get the
Pee?
Maybe, yeah, to pee.
Chris, did you have to pee? No, not even.
I think it was like camera stuff. Like we're gonna take shots of you and this. I just went over the. I mean, there was a dip.
Yeah.
And I was on that dip taking pictures.
Nice.
It was so cool, and it was kind of scary. There's trucks coming, and yeah, but it was so beautiful.
That
And
sounds
then
awesome.
The marathon
The
of
thon.
bongs was super. I mean, that was just so much fun. Camping. I wish we could have gone a little earlier because it was just so much fun. We had a lot of time.
Are you a camper?
I've not really.
Yeah.
I was like, I washed my feet a bunch. I was like, this feels really gross. But I mean, other than that, I was really. It hailed. It was just so much fun.
That's definitely camping in Colorado.
Yeah. I never seen hail like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I just don't picture you. You just gotta run with being dirty.
Yeah.
When you camp.
I try.
Yeah.
I try, but it's like, hey, listen, let me just clean up my toes for a second. I ran away. They're like, oh, there's a bug on, and I would.
You weren't big on
I
bugs.
don't like bugs.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I like I believe in reincarnation, so I don't kill them. Just leave them alone.
We that's so funny that you should say that. I'm not a Buddhist by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't really feel a need to kill bugs.
Yeah.
Unless, if it's a wasp that's going to sting us in a second, I'm fine with that or whatever. But there sure was a spider in the sink at our house the other day.
Oh, I wouldn't. I can't kill that.
Tim Martin cried.
Oh, you're arachnophobe too?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like big old, oh my God, kill it. It was like
Oh,
crocodile
yeah.
tears, shaking, get it away from me.
Sounds familiar.
It was ridiculous.
Dude, seriously, I want to, yeah. And there's too many spiders in the area I'm at.
Yeah, there's one. There's too many. There's one.
Dude, I see them all the time at night. They come crawling out and they're like, it's Tim Martin. I'm coming to get him.
Oh, there was one
Yeah,
right
they do like
outside
him.
of the studio, like outside the building.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, the dogs want to go. I was like, in or out? There's a spider coming. And it was raining.
There's a spider coming.
But Georgia tells me that I still don't believe her, that spiders just bite you more than once. So that's how you know if it's not a spider. It's like there's like 3 bites. I don't believe her, though.
Yeah, they crawl and bite and crawl and bite and crawl and bite.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
Good, then, because I don't want to ever be bit by a spider. It's the worst.
I think I was.
I'm so scared of
They're such
spiders.
Chickens.
I had asked my roommate to kill a moth a couple days ago.
Well, the moths here, the Miller moths, are humongous.
Yeah. I was like, moth.
Have you ever seen those ones that are as big as like butterflies?
yeah.
Seriously, that's like.
I'm on the 18th floor. How do they get up to the 18th floor of a building?
They fly, right?
Yeah, but Where are they? In the vents, I guess. I hear them in the vents, and it's
He hears moths just flying around the vents, just flop, 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 flop.
yeah, I do.
There was one. We have these grapevines in the front of our house, and the leaves are the size of your hand.
Oh.
And there was one of those Miller moths, and it had antennae that were like not little cute things that butterflies have, but like these. They looked like something out of a Star Wars movie. I mean, they were huge and pointy and
Tentacles.
yeah, I mean, it was. They kind of freak me out. They're unnecessary. Like they're not pretty. They don't add beauty to the world. They eat Warren's clothes.
They're food for spiders.
Ugh.
Little spiders don't eat moths that are that big. I
I'm
mean,
just saying, like maybe big ones. And
I feed the spiders.
No, stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. Of
Stop.
course.
You know, I have family who live in Arkansas, and there's these things called zipper spiders.
Ooh.
And they like build the web, and it's like it looks like a little zipper, in the middle of it, and they're like blue and yellow. And now can we stop talking about this? I'm sorry I came in here. I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to interrupt your show. I wanted to go in and to enjoy an evening with George and Sam and Chris, but then y'all got onto spiders.
We can be done with spiders because we actually
That's
have
it.
content today.
Cool.
I know that's surprising, but as you guys know, I've kind of done this shift in my show content and trying to do more entertaining kinds of things and more parenting kinds of things. And so I've been doing a lot more research about information that's out there about parenting and talking to your kids about drugs and marijuana and those kinds of things. And not surprising, the level of propaganda that is out there is laughable. It is disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And it's like, if you Google something like, parenting and marijuana, all of this propaganda, how to talk to your kids and make sure that they stay off drugs and all those kinds of things, all this information is out there, which is all well and good. I mean, I think that parents ought to be able to pick and choose some of that stuff. But for today's show, I was kind of inspired by Alex Rodriguez's suspension from Major League Baseball. Because when you what a tool
Ruined his whole life and everything that he had accomplished, and then ruined the name of baseball again. And he's going to continue to play because he's appealing his suspension. Yeah.
And the rationale behind his appeal is he makes more money this year. So as his contract continues each year, he makes less and less because he gets older and older and he's less and less useful. So he wants to be able to play as many games this year as possible because, by the way, during the appeal process, he continues to get paid through his appeal of his suspension.
Yeah.
And he admitted the first time around that he is a big fraud and that he takes performance enhancing drugs because he's a puss, I guess, and is so worried about not being good enough or strong enough or what have you. It's not enough that he is amazingly talented.
It's not just him. It's just it became this situation in baseball where it was like everybody had to compete and do it, and it was like ridiculous.
Pro cycling, the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I get that, but you know what? Kids all over the country looked up to Alex Rodriguez. I mean, think about all the kids who were in Little League across this country. I mean, baseball, America's
McGuire.
right. It's America's sport, and everyone loves baseball. It's so healthy, and it's so great when everyone has a pickup game of softball. I mean, it's what we do in this country. And he cares so little about the kids who look up to him that he doesn't care that he's not just breaking the rules, but harming his body. And he's a fraud. There's a reason why they call him a fraud.
No.
I mean, it's so I was kind of inspired by that situation because we do have to talk to our kids about why this happened, how this happened, why professional athletes feel the need to cheat and take drugs that are going to give them an unfair advantage, why it's not enough and okay. I mean, remember the first time around, it was like, well, I didn't know what my trainer was giving me.
A lot of them, were like that, and yeah.
Well, you're an idiot. Why would you put something in your body? If you're a professional athlete and you make your living by your body performing, why would you dare put something in it that you didn't know what it was? Oh, right, because you're an idiot.
Yeah, or a liar.
Or
And you know exactly what it is.
Like, see,
Right.
the thing is, like, but see, why is it the same thing that people do drugs? Why do people put heroin in their bodies?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's
well,
their own personal reasons.
It's two separate things though. Alex Rodriguez and all of the other professional athletes and Major League Baseball players who have recently tested dirty, they did it for one purpose. Because they wanted to be better, make more money, be better than the next person.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was pure greed. It wasn't an addiction. It wasn't, it didn't.
But you don't think it
Greed.
becomes a pure greed at a certain point in time of an addiction? Say, like a heroin addict or an alcoholic or whatever is just like, I mean, at a certain point, I almost think it's like those people cheating can't help it because it's in their mind that like over so many years that they've played and they've been just what's the word I'm looking for? Just
Liars, cheaters.
they've been just trained and it's been built into their brain that they have to do this, and if they don't do it, then they're a failure and they're a loser. So then they go ahead and do that. But I see what you're saying, the difference in the two, disease and
The other thing about that, though, in terms of your point, is once you do it for so long and you don't get caught, then
for real.
then you're like, why do I stop? Because look at my batting average, or I can throw that much faster, I can hit that much farther, and I can cycle up that many more hills. Like I get it, the reward versus the risk.
And there's a period of time where it's like you don't get caught, and this is the same thing with like probably with Alex Rodriguez, that like you go through a certain amount of time where nothing happens, and then something does happen, and you're like, see, I can get away with it again.
Yeah, and I'm only going to get suspended for 211 games. Who really cares? I'm only going to lose, whatever $23 million next year because he won't play or whatever. And he can't play in Taiwan or Japan or any of these other places. But anyway, I bring this all up because for the first time in my entire life, I support the Yankees in trying to figure out how to get to get him out of his contract, which they can't. There's not a way to do that because of a substance abuse issue. It's only the commissioner of baseball can do that. But this all inspired me to kind of think about how we talk to our kids about drugs, because how I'm going to talk to my son about what A-Rod did, it's very different than how I'm going to talk to my kid about marijuana when he's a teenager, for example.
Yeah.
And so having said that, I went ahead and I did my little Google, because, you can find out a lot if you Google. Mm-hmm. And, there's this website, ask.com. Mm-hmm. Everything's on ask.com. Everything. You can ask about anything. Why do you get belly button lint? What kind of spider causes you to black out and foam at the mouth? All of that stuff is on ask.com, as is tips for talking to teenagers about marijuana use. But one of the interesting things, there's a whole bunch of tips, and we're going to talk about a couple of them. But one of the first tips was that parents should know the marijuana jargon. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'd be curious to know what they consider marijuana jargon. So I clicked on that link, and I kid you not, a matrix of 11 pages of words. It's kind of like snow in Alaskan culture.
Does it include dabs though? I bet it's
you know what's also crazy about it is it's not an alpha order. If it was an alpha order, I could immediately go to something like that. But no,
that's so stupid.
It is so stupid. And some of the do you know that lumber, the word lumber, is stems and marijuana waste?
No.
Ever heard that before?
Yo, I got some lumber I need to get rid of.
Right? Do you know that hemp is another word for marijuana?
Well, I mean,
Oh, it's not.
Except that it's not.
I mean, there's a lot of people that would think that.
Except for that, it's not.
All that jargon.
Yo, can I get some of the hemp? I need some of that.
States.
Can I have some of that?
I need some of the hemp.
gonna
Somebody posted up a picture earlier, by the way. It was from Denver. That was a bag of like just leaf and whatever that they have for like $40 or whatever. And I'm like, I faced palmed myself. I was like, It was someone that was freshly from out of state. So
Yes.
fast you were going to learn that was not kosher.
No, and it wasn't hemp either. So there's
That's what my shirt says.
50 words for marijuana. 50 words, of which I've never heard any of them.
Yeah.
Angela.
Angela does no. That's
No,
not. That's not.
I don't think I've heard Angela.
That's
Angela?
not jargon.
That'd be like cocaine.
Well, and
Angie.
funny that you say that. Funny that you say that.
acid.
So
Angela.
many of these. Do you know what they say a blunt is?
Billy.
A cigar, marijuana, and cocaine.
What?
It's not.
Not no.
It's not. I mean, this is like these are
so
crazy. Do you know what do you know what a B40 is?
No.
Cigar laced with marijuana and dipped in heroin.
A B40.
Do you know what an atom bomb is?
Never.
Marijuana and heroin. Do you know what? I mean, these are crazy words. I've never heard of any of this. And okay, I know this one. Burn one. Okay, so we use that.
Burn one.
Let's
Peop-
burn one.
Yeah, let's burn one.
Oh, I
Peop-
saw that.
people use
the
that frame.
Bonathon.
Burn one.
Yeah.
I've heard of that, Devin.
So do you know what a bone is?
Spliff. Joint.
It just says, and that's what I would say too. It just says marijuana or $50 worth of cocaine.
What?
Can I get a
Most
bone?
random thing.
I'm not. This is ridiculous. 11 pages of these. 11. Hang on. Let me go to some of the.
What's interesting though is even on Facebook there's like this group that a bunch of glass blowers have kind of friended with that, like it's just a joke group that somebody had made up with about marijuana killing you and like
Makes you violent.
yeah, it makes you violent, and like this is like it took a picture of some lady that was on meth and then like went through like the 12 mug shots of her going through her period of meth, and it's like marijuana does this to you, and then there's other pictures where there's like after just one hit, look at this lady, and like and they're making fun of it, and it's funny to a certain point, but
Right.
that's what you're saying is like everything got to such a ridiculous level that even then in that situation that we have to make fun of it so much over the top and overboard.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is just so crazy. So, hey, not
BC, bud.
right, swag. That's marijuana. And let me just tell you, folks, if your marijuana smells like hay, don't smoke it. I mean,
I've smoked quite a lot.
oh my gosh. I mean, these are just crazy.
Used to get pounds of BC that was just it was like hey, hey.
So do you know what a candy blunt is? Anybody in the
That sounds familiar.
candy blunt?
I've heard of candy flipping or something like
This
that.
is a marijuana laced cigar dipped in codeine cough syrup.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of
Really?
that. It doesn't really work though.
That sounds
I honestly had
stupid.
I had a friend that had tried it one time that had the codeine or whatever, and like it just doesn't work. Like it's not something that it's not like I smoked it or even tried to attempt it. It just it didn't burn right. It didn't.
Well, right. It's dipped
work.
in something liquid.
It's dipped in it's syrup nonetheless. Like as soon as like it dries out, it's not like it dries out hard or whatever. It's a syrup, and when it starts to melt, it turns into like this little candy-ish. It's dumb.
Okay, here's my last one, and then we're gonna take a break because this is just ridiculous. So do you guys know what a wet is?
It is a
Like a wet
I know it is a joint with formaldehyde.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what that is.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, yeah. I think.
And this was-
Embalming fluid.
Embalming
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was seriously like
PCP.
Like this was something that was hugely pushed when I was in elementary school and middle school as like something that was being done all the time. And
So
honestly,
that's how you heard about it.
That's how.
yeah,
that's how
but see,
we
people
heard
also
it.
did it though, and it puts you into a point to where you go into it puts you into a comatose state I mean, that's one of all those that you read that was like maybe
Yeah.
like wouldn't work. People actually did that, and it puts you into this crazy comatose state.
Don't try it at home, folks. That's ridiculous. We're going to come back, and after the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about parenting, about these tips that we got on Ask.com from, of course, Partnership for Drug Free. We'll be right back. I'm Georgia. You're listening to iCannabis Radio.
The Law Office of Edson Maton and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson Maton and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Hi, welcome back. So yeah, we were just going over some of the terminologies. I mean, seriously, we could spend the rest of the night just talking about this and what this means. But the other thing that it says is it says that 420 means smoking. And 420 doesn't really mean that. I mean, it's kind of a catch-all phrase for marijuana and marijuana culture and those kinds of things. And you're supposed to take your break at 420. But someone who says something 420 does not mean that they're currently smoking. You know, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's confusing for parents. I mean,
real.
I guess that if you want a quick tutorial of all of the different phrases of what your kid could be doing, memorize these 11 pages, and I'll test you later. But really,
The funny thing is, you're gonna be it's wrong.
yeah. The funny thing is that it's wrong.
It's wrong.
If you think your kid's doing PCP and they really aren't, you're gonna be upset.
I think.
But
Dear God.
so some of these tips from a Partnership for Drug-Free America, whatever it is now, which has changed its name, and we talked about it last time. They talk about the percentage of kids that are using marijuana now and those kinds of things. I mean, they're really asking parents to sort of look at their kids as though they're already smoking marijuana. And my personal parenting advice is talk to your kids before they start smoking marijuana. And they do give the statistic of the majority of kids who try other drugs have tried marijuana first, which is, of course, that whole gateway drug issue. And here's the thing. And they say, they say that the rationale is they had an interesting perspective, but really a big part of the rationale is that kids are willing to try other drugs because we've lied to them about marijuana. And
This is a big part of it.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that marijuana didn't hurt them, make them freak out, make them scared.
Like they were told.
Make them, yeah. I mean, at worst, they felt paranoid or they passed out.
Yes.
You just can't include marijuana in the same conversation of drugs as like with heroin and cocaine and
Right.
these other, and even like the frustrating thing is that you can include it in the argument with alcohol, but even then, it's like clearly not the same substance, and alcohol is such a much more dangerous and scary situation, for somebody to get into. So it is. It's really hard to separate that discussion with your children, And one of the things that if I were to sit down with a kid and talk with a child about would be is that marijuana is not like any other drug. It's and without getting into too much detail or whatever, it's not this horrible disgusting, wrong drug that maybe you've been told about, but at the same time, it's an adult substance.
I mean, I'm so glad you said that, because to me, that's the bottom line. The bottom line when I'm talking to my kid is, you've just got to believe that when I say, please wait, there's a reason why I want you to wait. And it's not because I think anything really terrible is going to happen to you if you smoke marijuana, like I do if you drink alcohol or those other kinds of things. But I really just want you to wait. I want you to make wise decisions.
Yeah.
And in order to make wise decisions, you have to be wise. And you don't get to be wise at 18. Sorry.
Yeah,
You know,
your
that
son is
takes
already
some
wise
time.
at 8, so
Well, my son is wise in the ways of Minecraft, but
I completely.
some other ways I don't know.
He's trying to teach me yesterday. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. All right. So in this Ask.com propaganda from Partnership for Drug-Free America, they do have some pros and cons for legalization, okay, which I thought was nice. And so they start off with the pros, which is good, and they have them in categories: social reasons, law enforcement reasons, and fiscal reasons. The social reasons for marijuana legalization is that the prohibition of marijuana is unwarranted government intrusion into individual freedoms of choice. Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Marijuana is no more harmful to a person's health than alcohol or tobacco, which are both legal and widely used and regulated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. And in fact, it's less harmful, my little
safer,
addition. Marijuana has proven medical benefits for cancer, AIDS, glaucoma, and other patients.
Cool.
True that. Crime and violence, both within the U.S. and the U.S.-Mexican border, are greatly increased due to illegal selling and buying of marijuana. Legalization would logically end the need for such criminal behavior. Hear, hear. Mm-hmm. Law enforcement reasons, according to this, for legalizing marijuana. One national statistics show that 872,000 arrests last year related to marijuana, 775,000 of them for possession, not sale, or manufacturing, sparking some critics to suggest that the resources of criminal justice system, including crowded state prisons and courts, would be better used elsewhere. Hear, hear. Drug busts of youth for marijuana offenses often carry harsh penalties that can cause undue social harm and lifelong consequences. And then the fiscal reasons for legalizing marijuana are: marijuana is one of America's top-selling agricultural products. One California politician estimates that marijuana sales in his state top $14 billion.
That's insane. Like, that's crazy, because here in Colorado, it's an estimated retail sales fully open wide, like retail, at $2 billion.
Yep.
Just two.
$2 billion, and you're talking about California's
Right.
$14 billion.
Christ.
Think about the taxes that are with that. You know,
Right.
I mean, that's enormous and crazy.
Fantastic.
That's why you should vote no in November on Colorado 10% and 15% taxes. Sorry, I hijacked your show for that, Georgia.
Mainstream pundits like Fox News' Glenn Beck and CNN's Jack Cafferty, I can't believe I said those two names on my show, have publicly questioned the billions spent each year fighting for endless war on drugs. Hear, hear. If marijuana was legalized and regulated, an estimated $8 billion would be saved annually in government spending on enforcement, including for the FBI and U.S.-Mexico border security. The cons. You ready for these, guys? The social reasons. Some Americans believe that marijuana ingested is immoral, and their moral standards should be required of all Americans.
Say that
My
again?
morals and your morals may be different, and I thought being an American meant that we had the ability to have different belief systems.
That one's funny. Some people won't like it. They'll
Right.
cry about it.
Right. I'm not a big
Okay.
alcohol fan.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I'm not crying about it.
Long-term or abusive use of marijuana can be harmful to a person's health and well-being. Okay.
Can you
Okay.
say it again? Sorry.
Long-term or abusive use of marijuana can be harmful to a person's health and well-being. But again, alcohol, tobacco,
Is that
red
not?
meat, all of that's legal.
Yes.
McDonald's, legal. Definitely long-term use or abuse could be harmful to
Yeah.
your health and well-being.
Yes.
Secondhand smoke from marijuana can be harmful to others. I don't know that we know that, but okay, let's just say that that's true. Let's figure out a way to put regulations in place.
But see, here's the thing: is like, I mean, there's no study out there that proves that
We don't-
cannabis smoke is harmful, and in any other way other than combustion.
But that's what I said.
And-
We don't know that that's true, but
Yeah.
but let's just say that it is.
Yeah.
We can work around that. Many allege that regular marijuana use can lead to use of harder, more harmful drugs such as heroin and cocaine.
That is a logical fallacy.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, CNN's Sanjay Gupta very specifically talks about how there is no evidence that shows that marijuana is a gateway drug. And you'll hear more about that in his CNN special, which airs on the 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern time on CNN, entitled Weed. And that is going to, I think we're going to see a crazy shift because
I don't like that name. I think it
Weed?
should have been cannabis. Yeah.
Yeah,
know
but
what?
see, here's the thing: is like it that you're right in what you said, but the rest of the country knows weed.
Yeah.
you know,
you're right.
weed is what gets people interested in watching the show.
Yeah.
Cannabis, people don't care.
Yeah,
I'm going
you're
to
right.
talk just a little bit more, and then we're going to go to our next break.
Dude, that Sanjay Gupta like seriously flipped around from being anti-marijuana to now here in the past year
Because he's a scientist, because
seen
he's-
friends of ours.
That's right.
Yeah,
he was willing
awesome.
to look at the facts.
Yeah.
He may have gone in with a bias,
Yeah.
but he was able to put that aside and he came out to be a friend of cannabis.
More and more doctors.
Law enforcement reasons for maintaining the current state of marijuana. Some opponents of legalizing marijuana believe that individuals involved in illegal buying and selling of drugs are more likely than average to be involved in other crimes, and that society is safer with marijuana offenders incarcerated. Well, those people are silly.
Mitch Morrissey tried to pull this whole bullshit at the Denver City Council this past week of where he said that there's been 12 murders directly
I remember,
directed towards with cannabis, and he made it
that's a
almost
lie.
seem like that there was murders inside of dispensaries, like they even to the
yes.
point of he said that there was a double homicide execution style with dispensary people, and
They call
like
that propaganda.
like it's bullshit. And then
Yep.
the next day, he only had 9 names, and then went and said that it was loose numbers.
Yeah. The last law enforcement reason for maintaining marijuana's illegal status is law enforcement agencies don't want to be construed as supporting drug use. And then of course there's the third category, and the third category is the fiscal reasons, and they say there are no significant fiscal reasons against U.S. legalization of marijuana. Thought that was pretty fabulous. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk, when we come back, we're going to talk about why families are moving to Colorado in droves. I'm Georgia. You'll be right back.
Whether you are a commercial grower or cultivate as a hobby, No Dough Urban Garden Supply is Denver's first stop for your hydroponic grow needs. With a wide range of products including House and Garden, Botanicare, and Fox Farm, their knowledgeable staff can get you started on your first garden or help you with your well-established business. No Dough Urban Garden Supply is located in downtown Denver at 1330 27th Street, 4 blocks north of Coors Field near MMD of Colorado. They are open 6 days a week from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 303-296-3424 or visit them on the web at www.nodoughurbangardensupply.com.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
The National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
We're back. Welcome back. So the conversation in the chat room is funny about what people call marijuana and how people some people don't like pot, some people don't like weed, some people don't like marijuana. I want you to call it cannabis and all those kinds of things. And I used to be pretty hardcore about marijuana and cannabis were the only words that I used. And I think now, I think now with Colorado's legalization, I feel like that it's not denigrating to use other terms.
No, but there is one term that will piss every single grower off, and that's called pre-run. There's this
Right?
new thing that's come in. What up, Dredd? Pre-run.
That's right. If you are a dabber, if you like your concentrates, then and you don't smoke flower, then all flower is
pre-run to you.
is pre-run to you. So I got a call a couple weeks ago from my friend Sean Moore, and Sean, as you guys know, is a huge medical marijuana activist, and his son Chaz Moore has been on the show, and he was one of the first. At that point in time, he was a minor who started using medical marijuana for his diaphragm flutters, these horrible flutters that he gets, and he's actually kind of the
Chaz,
star. Yeah, Chaz. He's kind of the star of Sanjay Gupta's show that's going to be on the 11th, and Sean contacted me and said, "Gosh, what dispensaries in Denver carry strains that are high in CBD?" And as you guys know, CBD is the cannabinoid that doesn't produce the high that THC does, and provides a lot of the pain relieving, really medically inducing components of the cannabis plants.
It's crazy how much we're finding out about it, because even though this is something else I learned the other day, was that CBD opens up your cannabis, your receptors, and then you smoke CBD and then smoke something else, you're going to get higher because your receptors have been opened up.
Interesting.
And then if you smoke CBD, it'll allow you to come back down. It's crazy what we're learning.
The and so I started asking around in Denver, and I couldn't find dispensaries. So if anybody of you know dispensaries that are carrying high CBD strains, please let me know, because families are moving to Colorado to get this medicine for their children. Kids who have rare, intense seizure disorders and the likes are moving from non-medical states to Colorado in order to receive this health care for their kids, and we're not doing such a good job. That's okay. So whatever it takes for us to be able to get some of this information to these kids. We know of definitely of edible companies that are making edibles that are higher in CBD and those kinds of things. But we want to really be able to help these families that are literally moving here to save their kids' lives. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, on the opposite end of the spectrum, the war on drugs continues to take lives. And this is one of those stories that I'm not going to be able to get through without crying. I promise you.
Fark this couch. This sucks, man.
We're going to show a video, and I'll warn you, it is it's pretty hard to watch. So be prepared to meet Alex, who died last Wednesday.
Sip into something exciting. Right now at your DQ, every small orange Julius
Always
smoothie
gotta
is
be a
just
commercial
$1.49. 8
At least it's
unexpected
for
real
something
fruit
that I
flavors
can relate
like pina
to.
colada and
A little
orange
Dairy
berry.
Queen.
All 3 varieties, all
Love
just
Dairy Queen.
$1.49.
Not the strain.
This is
I
fan
love
food, not fast
the
food.
ice cream.
Cool.
Stoners and ice cream.
13-year-old girl in what
And
police
me.
describe as a horrific case of child abuse. I'm Tyler C. Swarta.
And I'm Terry Gruca. The Night Beat's Chris Betts spoke tonight with the victim's father. Chris, it's her foster mother facing charges.
That's right, Terry, and we do want to give fair warning. Some of the images in this story may be difficult to see. A woman trusted with taking care of a 2-year-old is charged with murder tonight after that child was rushed to a hospital in a helicopter on Monday and taken off life support late last night. This evening, I spoke with the child's father about his last moments with his little girl.
B. C.
He never thought his visit with her Thursday would be his last.
We got to sit down at McDonald's and have lunch and play for a while. She got a little Despicable Me 2 toy in her Happy Meal, and she loved it. And she kept climbing up in my lap, and she fed me French fries, and it's a lot of fun.
On Monday night, Joshua Hill's daughter, Alexandria, or Alex as they like to call her, was rushed to a hospital with severe head injuries and immediately placed on life support.
I can't even describe it.
Alex was living with foster parents after CPS removed her from her parents' home last November for neglectful supervision. Hill admits they were smoking pot when their daughter was asleep.
We never hurt our daughter. She was never sick. She was never in the hospital. She never had any issues until she went into state care.
For 2 months, Alex was placed in a home that Hill says was dangerous.
She would come to visitation with bruises on her and mold and mildew in her bag.
Bag
It
is a
got to
diaper.
a point where I actually told CPS that they would have to have me arrested because I wouldn't let her go back.
In January, CPS placed her with this woman, Cheryl Small. Hill says things seemed safe there.
They listened. They paid attention when we had concerns. They tried to keep us in the loop. But in the end, it wasn't enough.
Hill got the call Monday night that his daughter was in a Temple hospital.
They wouldn't tell me what condition she was in or what was wrong or what had happened, anything. The only thing they would tell me is I needed to be there. And when I got there, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I found out that Alex was in a coma.
For 2 days, they held out hope she would regain consciousness. But on Wednesday night, Alex was taken off life support.
And Alex passed around 10:30 that night.
Detectives say Small's explanation didn't match Alex's injuries, and on Thursday, they charged the foster mother with murder. Hill says he was less than 4 months away from getting Alex back, and now he'll never get the chance. After police were called to Alex's foster home in Rockdale Monday, CPS removed another child in the home. Small was arrested today, and her bond is set at $100,000.
Just heartbreaking. Thanks, Chris.
At the end,
the
reporter started to lose it.
It relies on.
I mean, seriously, for a reporter to, like, in a story of, like, she obviously knows that this situation is just out of control, and the reason why. And what's frustrating is that they don't say until a minute or so into the situation that it was just marijuana.
To be honest, we don't know the entire story as to what happened and how it happened and all those kinds of things. What they're attributing it to is this takes place in Texas, illegal drug use in illegal drug use in Texas. And no matter what, I mean, the reason why we're playing it in the show, of course, is because they are talking about the fact that this little girl they felt like she was endangered because the parents were smoking pot when she was asleep. But there is no reason, no matter what, that end should have occurred.
It sounded to me like that in a way, like your daughter's asleep and you want to relax, and that sounded like responsible while she's. I mean, if she's up running around and the smoke's like all around the living room, she's playing her toys, and that's one thing. But I mean, I saw this story today, and I just, like, a part of me wanted to think that it was some sort of propaganda, and I didn't believe it because it made me so angry. The second I saw it, I mean, it's one of those situations to where that there's like this small percentage of people out there that want to. Some of them put us to death. Like they hate us so much that they want to do away with us and our idea of freedom and all that. I mean,
well, here's what's worse about it to me. So it doesn't say that in that clip, but the way that little Alex died was that the foster mother slammed her on the floor 3 times.
It's just horrible.
This dad does an amazing job. I mean, when you hear him, he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
No.
He seems like someone who loved and cared about his daughter. I mean, he was terrified and horrified with the first foster home because, I mean, can you imagine bruises and mold and mildew in her diaper? Now, I understand it's Texas, and Texas is a very humid place, but the amount of time it would take for a little girl's diaper to get moldy, pretty significant amount of time that she was not being taken care of and neglected and not supervised appropriately, which is the exact charge that he and his wife were experiencing when they had her taken away. Now, of course, like I said, we don't know anything more about why Child Protective Services took little Alex from her parents.
Yeah, but you got trillions and trillions and trillions in years spent on the drug war, yet we can't have a situation to where we have proper child care and proper adult care, and it's ridiculous. It's one of the biggest things that pisses me off about this whole drug war thing is that we spend so much money to sweep this problem that we think that we're going to solve under the carpet, when in fact the two things that we need to really be working on is our children, bettering their lives. Probably three things: our elderly and taking care of them in better situations, and just overall is just anyway.
Well, and for me, it goes back to kind of the pros and cons of legalization that we just read. The amount of money that the state of Texas spends on foster care placements. Did this child need to be in foster care?
No.
I don't know.
She died in foster care.
She died in foster care, so it wasn't a good result. And of course, was there another family member that could have taken her instead? Did they exhaust all of those options? Because the result was that the foster placement agency that contracts with the state did such a lousy job of ensuring her safety that she died.
Can they be sued?
Probably. The rest of that piece talks about placement agencies and how in the past couple of years that specific agency had 15 allegations against them. Several of them were for not doing background checks on people living in the home and so forth. They did. There was an 8-month-old that was living in that house as well that they pulled. And I was thinking about this today as I was researching this story and wanted to kind of think about how to talk about it. And parents get mad at their kids. Parents get mad at their kids. First of all, this little girl had only been in the home for 6 months. It's a really short period of time. She was two. I don't understand how you can possibly be so angry that you slam a 2-year-old on the ground 3 times.
Because you're a horrible person.
Because you're a horrible person, and you're not fit for being a foster care parent. And
you're not fit for life.
Well, and that comes out. That's not something that's like hidden. If anyone would have interviewed this person, I find it really hard to believe that there wouldn't have been an inkling that your gut would have said, this is not an appropriate home. And she's in her 50s. They were unemployed. They were looking at this not as a way to help humanity or to support children, but as a way to make money. And certainly foster care parents should be paid. Absolutely.
See, and at this point, it has nothing to do with marijuana. It has everything to do with our failure of a system to take care of each other. It just so happens that, if it was specifically marijuana drug use that this child was taken out of the house, that is a perfect example of just unneeded drug war hitting us. And then there's so many other problems past it.
That's the point right
Sucks.
there. That if we stopped this failed drug war, Alex would be alive feeding French fries to her dad. We're going to take a break. I'm Georgia. We'll be right back. High up in the Rockies is beautiful Frisco, Colorado. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies is a medical marijuana center with compassion for Colorado's medical patients. Looking for great meds grown organically in soil? You've come to the right place. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies is just off I-70 at exit 203. Check them out at the web at www.mmrockies.com. Their ever-changing strain and clone selection is updated on the website daily. When making a trip to the mountains, no matter the season, stop by Medical Marijuana of the Rockies. Make sure you say you heard about them on iCannabis Radio. You can call 970-668-MEDS to get more information. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, your mountain source for meds.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
So talking at the break, I mean, we're all pretty worked up, and it's interesting that everyone's response sort of is, how does this woman get punished, and what happens to her, and so forth, and I mean, I've talked before. I'm pretty anti-death penalty. I don't believe in an eye for an eye. I don't think that works. It never ends. There's never an end for it.
I know, I agree. It's just you get so riled up. It's like, why can't I just whack her in the head?
Sure. Well, absolutely. And you know what? I mean, family members of murder victims and so forth, they hope that when someone is sentenced, that they'll have some sort of closure or feeling of relief and that kind of thing. And time it doesn't happen. Someone's, they go and they watch somebody put to death, and that doesn't bring their family member back. That doesn't take away the pain. That doesn't erase anything. That's not closure. And Tim kind of talked about we need to address people's mental health, and that goes for victims too. I mean, what gives people closure is therapy, is working through the issues. I mean, this sounds so, like, I don't mean to be like hippy dippy, because I'm not, but there's an element of
this is for real. Like, me going through some of the therapeutic things that I've gone through in my life is for real. There's a point in time where you have to just forgive and understand.
That's right.
And work with yourself and not worry about what another person has done, and trust in a system that you hope that works. But see, is so many times that, and why maybe people mention eye for eye is because the system farks up so much, and we don't get that, and then there's that, and then there is that emotional outburst, that people in courtrooms that they that been found not guilty, of killing their son or their daughter or whatever, and then they explode and whatever. But like you were going on to say, and like I fully agree with that, we have this horrible prison complex in America and throughout the world that that problems are focused on throwing people behind bars and not in the fact of why you did it in the first place. Like, majority of people don't give a shiz why you did it. They just want to punish you and expect you that you should have already been okay and good in the first place. But the world is not good all the time.
And at the point in time that we're looking for something else to make us feel better, that's when we really get stuck. Like you said, I mean,
I'm right there.
It comes to the realization that the only control that you have is over yourself, not over a system, not over another person, and you have to come to some kind of resolution, some kind of peace, some kind of forgiveness, whatever that looks like for you. And easier said than done, obviously.
For me, it's the hardest thing
in
my life to do is just forget something. Just forgive yourself a lot of the time, and just move on. And if you can do that, and you can understand the reasons why you're doing things and the reasons why other people are doing things, to me, it seems like those people are the happiest people in life.
Yeah.
Everybody gets frustrated and everybody feels, a certain hate sometimes. But God, I just wish that, number one, we could do away with this drug war, because it would change the fabric in America. And number two, that everybody in the entire world would go to a psychologist to learn that, look, it's not all about everything around you. It's about how you accept it, about how you deal with it, And I mean, I'm dealing directly 100% with that right now, so I understand.
That's kind of a nice segue into talking about Uruguay, which is where I want to move next week. I mean, I'm sure at this point everyone has heard that Uruguay has now legalized marijuana, weed, cannabis, pot, dopes, whatever you want to call it, the dope.
Bone.
Even though it was already pretty okay in Uruguay, but that personal freedoms issue, that idea that people have to take responsibility for themselves, that was sort of the premise of Uruguay's ultimate decision making.
And the government was like, and it had a huge, I mean, there was a huge push against this, and like people in the government, the president was like, you know what, there's something has to change in the war on drugs, and the first part of this is obviously to change cannabis and the cannabis laws.
Right, and again, the idea that getting rid of cartels and those kinds of
Ugh,
things
gives me chills.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty amazing, and I wish we could say the way that Uruguay goes, the way that the world goes, but
who knows?
But who knows? But who knows? It was the idea that drug trafficking was posing dangers to the citizens of Uruguay. So it was an idea of protecting citizens, personal freedoms. People make decisions on their own. There are people who don't like the fact that pharmacies are going to be the ones to distribute marijuana. But that's a huge step in the right direction.
See, the thing is with that also, I feel like just as like the Uruguay, the same with Mexico in that mindset of like, we want to stop this war on drugs. We want to stop this trafficking. We want to stop this ridiculous way that the war on drugs has been fought. And we're going to, like you said a second ago, the way that Uruguay goes, the way that the world could possibly, I think they really, 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 when they did this, really were thinking that they were going to shove forward policy and this talk and
thoughtful policy, thoughtful talk.
To me, it was like, holy cow, this country actually sat down, got some cojones, and is going to push forward this talk. And to me, I've said to me so many times the past 2 seconds, or the past 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes left from the show.
To me, Mexico is the next one that's going to do this. That's going to say, "Fark your couch," and says, "We're legalizing pot, and we're going to form a distribution for it." And it's the only reason why it wouldn't happen is because the United States would smash it down. Mm-hmm. Uruguay is not close enough to the United States for us to smash. But if Mexico does it, it's over.
So I'm going to end continue on this happier notes. Do you guys know who Robin Thicke is?
Oh, shit.
Dude, the dude smokes some marijuana. So he was arrested for possession in New York City, and he said that he's convinced that he's spent more than $500,000 on marijuana. He considers himself to be a nonstop chimney, he says.
Dude, I couldn't believe the story when I saw it. I was like, yeah.
What?
I thought that was pretty awesome.
I'm going to have to search that
Also, yet another tour bus. Just like, remember when Avril Lavigne's tour bus was pulled over and there was marijuana found? Now it's the Biebs.
Oh, yeah.
Is this Bieber's?
Chris's favorite singer, the Biebs.
Chris's favorite singer, and it's the bus driver. I think
the bus driver gets busted.
Dude, somebody posted up on my page, did a little meme that was like Justin Bieber, like, "Do you even dab, bro?"
I did.
Like, dude, it's crazy. Like that. But see,
the Biebs wasn't on the bus.
He's such a douche, though.
Like
a couple days earlier than that, like, not just for the fact that I don't like Justin Bieber and his music and whatever.
Really, because you listen to it a lot. That's odd.
No, you suck so bad. He spit on his fans from a balcony, hawked a loogie, and then went and denied it and said that he was spitting in a terrace that was below there where there was nobody
girls
at.
would have caught it in a cup and been all excited.
Dude, the girl that got spit in the face cried, bawled her eyes out.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
Dude, what a dick.
Okay, so this is trying to end on a happy note.
Happy.
So Princeton Review comes out with the top 10 smoker schools.
How can this be happy?
This is fantastic. I know Boulder, sorry. University of Colorado fans, but Boulder lost the number 1 spot.
Wow. I call BS on this whole thing.
Well, it's because of 420. It's because of the fact that the school screwed over 420. So starting number 10, the top 10 universities on the Princeton Review's list as good smoking schools. University of California, Santa Cruz. Duh. Pitzer College in Claremont, California. If it's in California and it's a small school, they're smoking it up.
If it's in Cali, I buy it.
Right. Number 8, University of Oregon.
Sure.
Duh.
Dude, there's reason. That's why some people go there.
some people. That's why people.
I know
there.
a few professional athletes that's the reason why they went there.
There you go. Set number 7, Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York. Don't get it. Whatever. What?
You have no clue.
There's nothing else to do in Ithaca. It's cold in the winter, so you smoke pot? Maybe.
Blew me away.
Number 6. Oh, this is so easy. University of Vermont. Duh.
Yeah.
Hippie capital of the East Coast.
People don't
Duh.
realize how many tokers are in Vermont.
Oh.
Like dude, it gives Colorado a run for their money easily.
Oh, absolutely. They're just more quiet about it.
Great.
And they provide socialized healthcare. University of California, Santa Barbara, number 5. Eckerd College, St. Petersburg, Florida, number 4.
You're from Florida? What the fuck
It's
is
just
that?
a small little school in St. Petersburg. Fabulous.
Florida.
Number 3, Evergreen State College, Olympia, Washington.
Okay.
Duh.
Yeah, Olympia.
University of Colorado, Boulder, number 2. And taking over the number 1 spot this year.
This makes no sense.
Skidmore College, Saratoga Springs, New York. If anyone can explain that to us, let us know.
Yes.
Someone
There's got to be like 5 people that go to that school, and all of them smoke. So that's how they won.
They dab.
Dude,
Yeah,
for
they
real.
must
Like,
dab.
how the hell did that?
It's fantastic.
It's bullshit.
UCLA, there's a question, what about UCLA? UCLA is not on the list, and my guess is because it's such a like huge metropolitan kind of school that they have all these other things going on.
There's so many colleges that could be on that list. Like, why CSU could be on that list. I mean,
No.
No?
No.
You don't think CSU?
No. I don't think so.
All right.
I think it's a great list.
more
I loved it.
More CSU, I guess, in the drinking range. That would it be so?
Right. We're done. It's been a great show.
Booyah shaka. Thank you guys for
Shush, it's my show. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I want to thank our sponsors, Mile High Wellness, Noto Urban Garden Supply, Cuffle, Collimore and Company, Edson Meat and Matt's, Medical Marijuana the Rockies, Medical Marijuana 101, and Run on Grass. Sam, Tim, and Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, don't miss Tim on JDR from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time every day, actually, Monday through Friday.
CD Wednesday with Adam Dunn. Make sure you guys hang out with us.
Oh, yeah,
It's gonna
don't miss
be
that.
Crazy on Wednesday. Like all this madness online about the differences in Tangy and everything. Wednesday, and then the Wednesday after that, we're going to try and get to the bottom of all of it. So,
Woo! Tomorrow, of course, from 6 to 8 is Sex Pot Radio, where they talk about
Sex and pot.
Thank you. Thursday, Hemp Connoisseur Magazine from 4 to 5. And then next week from 3 to 4 p.m. in the lab with Jennifer. And then, of course, I'm back as well. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you soon.